Hey everyone, welcome back to another Maya tutorial. So today we're going to be doing part 2 of modeling this Dark Souls Zweihander, or whatever you want to call it, in Maya. So if I go back to our blueprint in our top view here, we're going to be smoothing this handle right here and creating this and smoothing it in this episode. So if I go into SketchUp, I'm kind of looking at this object right here. So what I see is a cylinder and some just extruded pieces. This part looks kind of like what we did before, and this bottom part down here is just more simple extruding, so it wouldn't be it wouldn't be hard. So let's start off with a cylinder, and let's press E and then hold down J to rotate this 90 degrees. So I'm looking at the top right here in my channel box, and I'm going to drag this over to here, and then let's take a look. We can start off doing that bottom part. So our blueprint right here is kinda low poly, so it's kinda hard to see. Okay, so extrude this out, or scale this out, I mean, to like there. About here. We can even make this a bit bigger maybe. Take a look at our SketchUp model again. It's not too thick, but then we need to add that edge loop again. So I'm going to select my multi-cut tool, hold down Control, Shift, and right there in the middle, press Q to stop. Select all those vertices, and then just extrude those out, so like there. So we can take a look at this. It's looking pretty good. So let's continue. Also, I think these pulled up just a tiny bit more. Okay. Now let's select all those faces again using that cool tip I did before, and just simply it looks like, yep, okay, just simple extruding all the way out. So let's just extrude this out and then just follow along the edges. Ours is going to be a little bit more high poly than the SketchUp model, but if you want this for a game, then you don't really have to smooth it, which is what we're going to do later in this episode. But it looks nicer, and this is just for rendering and a portfolio project. Okay. So you can have less polys if you want to have, you know, less amounts of lines here. But I'm gonna start going in to now, so let's just start going. Control E, scale in. Let's do some bigger ones here. Okay. Let's take a look at this again about our little end. So, I don't know how to rotate. Looks like we're just gonna go there, and then we're just gonna do a simple extrusion after that. So I think it ends like here, basically. Yeah. All right. So let's take a look at how this is looking. It might be a little bit too high poly for my liking, so I'm gonna just delete some edges that I find unnecessary, such as this one. And when you're deleting edges, you want to make sure to do Control Delete, because if you just delete it, then it'll still leave vertices, as you can see. But if I just Control Delete it, there are no vertices left, so you don't have unnecessary polygons that would ruin your smooth. So let's see how this looks when it's smooth. We don't need this edge. Control Delete. We don't really need this one either. So it's looking better. Alright. So maybe we could just sacrifice that one too. Yeah. Okay. Having too many lines kind of ruins your smoothing too, because it won't look as curvy. So I'm also gonna space this out a little more. So like there. Alright, I like that. So now we can do this little bottom piece. So I'm gonna select those, just like I did in the first episode and this one. It's really helpful. And I'm going to Control E, but this time I'm going to just press R and then just scale this in a little bit, because it seems like this kind of just bit smaller. Let's see how this looks. Yeah, alright. So, we're gonna need to do one thing right now too. So, actually, we might select the edges. This edge right here, yeah, we can just double click that, and then bring this out a little bit. So, it's not so in. In fact, I might even bring it out a little more. There we go. I like that. Okay. So now with all of these selected, let's look at this. This seems to be pretty straight. And sorry if I'm flipping back and forth. In fact, I might actually do this because I have such a big monitor. I can just now scale this in and then do Control E and then R. Same thing we did earlier, and then just bring that out. Maybe actually a little bigger. Yeah, okay. And scale that in. And then we're also going to need to select those edges. So I'm just kind of looking there too. Might bring those out a little bit, and then I like this. So I think I'm going to make this bigger too. We're going to start actually smoothing this. So I'm also going to select all of this, go to Mesh Display, Harden Edge. Okay, there we go. So I'm also going to save this, Control S, and we're going to start smoothing this. So we're going to want to add an edge loop about there to keep that. So for example, when I press 3 to preview my smooth, see how it doesn't have all those crazy lines anymore. And then I also want to, whoop-de-doo, what did I just do? Keep, I have to focus on this, so maybe. Actually, let's see, how is the pivot point of this doing? Oh, that's weird. Okay. We're also going to want to keep the geometry of this. So if I preview that smooth, it's not keeping anything. So let's add one there. And how about one there? Preview the smooth now. It's totally keeping that still. So in fact, we might even want to keep that sharp edge, maybe by adding 2 up here. Preview that smooth. Yeah, I like that a lot. And let's also see if we can look at any of the real ones. Alright, looks like ours looks pretty good. So let's continue doing the same process. So that bottom looks pretty good. Now we need to work on this one right here. So let's do the same process with adding 2 down here. Remember, I'm holding down Control to do this, and let's do the same over here. And 1 there, and 1 there. Okay, press Q to stop that. Preview our smooth. I like that a lot. We also need to fix this, so I'm going to press 4 to see my wireframe so I can see behind. And press Q to stop that. 5 for wireframe. And that looks pretty awesome. Also, I feel like that is a bit... I'm going to select those, and I'm going to drag them in. Tiny bit more. Okay. So now we can actually smooth this, so I'm going to select that, and then go to Mesh, Smooth, and then press G to smooth it again. So now that is pretty clean looking. I'm going to save once again. You always want to save after you've done incremental things. So now we're going to work on smoothing this. So to keep this, we're going to want to add one right there and maybe one even in. Let's see how it looks. Yeah, okay, so I'm going to press 4 to see that my wireframe, whoops, I'm going to select the vertex that's right there, and I'm going to bevel it, and then I'm going to, oh my god, select that face, and then just scale it out to like there, and then I'm going to poke it, go to Edit Mesh, Poke, to have that same thing as before, and yeah, that looks way better now. Okay, so now we can continue keeping that geometry like we've done before. That looks pretty good, and then what it looks like on SketchUp, which I can also make bigger now, and this model, and I don't know, it's kind of hard to see, but that is funny looking. This line right here seems to be like sticking out, so we can try selecting that and then beveling it, and then make that fraction a bit smaller maybe. Let's see how that looks. Okay. I don't like the way the bevel looks. I'm going to Control Z, get back out of there. I'm just going to add some edge loops right next to it. Okay. That looks pretty good. Now we continue working on the back here. So I'm probably want to keep that, keep that, keep that, keep that. Sorry if I'm going a little fast here, but I'm kind of doing the same thing as I was doing before. So, right there, right there, right there. That prove you are smooth. Pressing 3. Looks pretty cool, although I think these are a bit too close, so I'm going to just select those, press R, and I'm going to scale those out a little bit more. And now if I preview this smooth, yeah, looks better. Okay, so let's select this, and I'm going to actually drag this in a little more. Yeah, I like that more. And go to Mesh Smooth, and then press G to do that again. Whoops, go back into object mode, select everything, and then press 1. And just to make sure that we aren't previewing any smooths that we don't have, turn off the grid so I can see this a bit better. And yeah, this actually looks pretty good, so I'm going to turn the grid back on, and I'm going to back out of, whoa, I hate this program sometimes. Where even am I? If I press F, can I like go back to here? Okay, 1 second. Alright, I'm back here. Make sure I'm actually recording. Okay. I've had so many times where I've just talked to myself forever. Anyways, so I think this is going to be it for this episode because we've totally finished the handle now. The next episode we will make the hilt, and then the episode after that probably make the sword-ish part right here, the blade, and then in the episode after that we will unwrap the UVs, and then the episode after that I'll probably texture it in Substance Painter. So thank you for watching, please subscribe.